We are learning that the instruments come from an age where the joining of cultural warriors from both the North and the South began to take place, awakening the minds and hearts of many. The age of the Condor and the Eagle, the age of a new tradition.
I'm Juana of Lulaworld Records, and this is part 2 of 3 of the Making of Northside KUISi, a New Tradition Volume 3 series featuring Beny Esguerra and New Tradition music. During part 1 of this series, we spoke to Beny about the instrumentation at the core of the compositions in the album. In this part, Beny will speak to us about the Condor and Eagle prophecy and how it inspired the album.
All right, so the prophecy of the Condor and the Eagle, or the Eagle and Condor prophecy, is something that inspired the creation of this album. So it's the whole story is the Condor representing the South and the Eagle representing the North came together, or flew together. And then eventually when colonization took place and the land began to be divided, the Condor representing the South went towards the South and the Eagle went towards the North. And the prophecy says, and the calendars also say, that now we're at a time where the two birds are supposed to come together as the people of those territories begin to awaken collectively and return to their traditional ways of understanding their relationship with the land, with the stars, with their instruments, with their languages, and all those different things. So that story is a big part of every aspect of this album. Starting with even the artwork. So this is the beautiful artwork done by C. Swift. It's all done in watercolor. And it's a collage of different pictures, different photos. We have Adam Solomon represented here, C. Swift, Melissa Noventa, my mother, my children. Even Luisitos over here, he's the driver of the chiva. The chiva is a traditional bus in Colombia. And we're at the southernmost land mass of Tacoronto, which is Leslie Spit. That has its whole history by itself too. And we're pointing at Tacoronto, we're pointing at the city coming from the south. So the whole idea is that we're bringing our culture, we're bringing our traditions from the south to the north with the instruments, and the two birds are leading the way. This is the album, all the credits. It includes up to 52 artists, including engineers and photographers, narrators, all those different artists that came together.
Northside KUISi is a concept album narrated by news reporters from a distant future. It's a carefully woven song cycle of 12 songs with an extra 7 hidden compositions that collectively chronicle the discoveries of an archaeological dig, where traditional instruments from the southern and northern hemispheres are unearthed. Here, Beny speaks to us about these compositions and how that concept was also inspired by the Condor and Eagle prophecy.
The transitions are basically the 7 tracks that glue all of the pieces together and create a whole storyline. It's a story that takes place in the distant future, where archaeologists, they dig up artifacts. This vinyl record, this drum, an indigenous hand drum from the north, and the indigenous flutes from the south. They dig them up, and 4 news reporters, they begin to talk about what they have found. And so there is it's a Creole language, a ancient futuristic Creole language made up of lengua palenquera, that is spoken by Jesus Natividad Perez, is the person who speaks in lengua palenquera, which is a Afro-Colombian language that's a mix of Kimbundu, Kikongo, which are Bantu, also with Portuguese and Spanish. and it's a language that has been spoken there, you know, for hundreds of years. And then we have Lina Ricole, who speaks Anishinaabe Mowin from Turtle Island. And then we have Ivy Cuervo, who does the part in English. And then my father, Fabian Esguerra, who does the part in Spanish. Every song is introduced by these transitions. So for example, the first transition that we hear, the news reporters say,
regarding the flute, drum, and disc, artifacts recently dug up by archaeologists.
Quienes están investigando sus orígenes y han descubierto que estos instrumentos provienen de una época en que se producían migraciones masivas y desplazamientos de sur a norte.
This is an update on the artifacts that have been found. We're learning that they come from a time where there was great displacement and migration from the south to the north, right? These are distant future reporters that are talking about our present, which is their past. And so then that introduces the song called Northside KUISi, which is an instrumental. Another one of the transitions says,
Los artefactos encontrados provienen de una época en la que el medio ambiente estaba siendo amenazado, época en que los incendios y pandemias tuvieron efectos catastróficos en los pulmones de la tierra y en los pulmones de quienes perecieron.
We are finding that these artifacts come from a time of fires and pandemics. And then the next song starts, which is Flooded in Flames and Let the Rain Fall, which is about the fires that were taking place in the Amazon and Australia and the Congo. And how all of those environmental issues are also linked to the pandemics that we're experiencing today. Another one of the transition talks about
Era en la que se inició la interrelación de guerreros culturales del norte y del sur, despertando la mente y los corazones de muchos. La era del cóndor y el águila, la era de una nueva tradición.
The artifacts come from a time where the joining of cultural warriors was taking place. An age of the Condor and the Eagle, the age of a new tradition, and that introduces Tura Ones, which is the song that brings together 8 different artists, all from the south of Chile all the way to the north. And then the final transition
Plantea que somos descendientes de viajeros en el tiempo, que se desplazan a través de diferentes dimensiones, hallando frecuencias ocultas, producidas con instrumentos musicales que usan la serie armónica, lo que confirma que no somos seres lineales.
Says we are descendants of time travelers who are able to tap into hidden frequencies through the harmonic series. The harmonic series is how this instrument is played, and our ancestors tapped into these frequencies and allowed them to be able to travel through time. And that's kind of what concludes the story of that glues all of the tracks together.
Inspired by the Condor and Eagle prophecy, the project aims to create a bridge between the South and the North through collaborations with artists representing nations across the southern and northern hemispheres of Abya Yala and Turtle Island. Here, Beny talks about these collaborations.
First, in Al Norte, we have Silla, who are the traditional Inuit throat singers, and that's Cynthia Pitsuliak and Charlotte Kamanik, who are featured as the ones introducing the song. Then we have One Dish, which features Nimki Azawamik, Malaika Wairi, and Raven Kanatakta, indigenous artists representing Turtle Island from different nations that are also coming together to create this track. In another one, we have Let the Rain Fall, which features jotaika bops, hip-hop artists from traditional Muisca territory in Bacata, Colombia, and Artson, who is an indigenous artist from El Paso, Texas. And they come together, which is an amazing track, one of my favorite tracks. And She Was There, Leang Manjarrez Wong is featured, and in my opinion, he is the best interpreter of this instrument, of the KUISi Bunsi, in the world, in my opinion, with the, not just his technique, but also the experimentations that he's doing with beatboxing and loop stations. And I've had the privilege of being able to perform with Leanne, and so it's an honor to have him on this album. Tracks like Thin Line features artists that I've worked with in Jane and Finch, in the Jane and Finch community, in a mobile studio project that I lead along with Civilian. Civilian's also the engineer in this album. And that track features Larry Blue, Maestro, Tracy K, and Nathan Baya. And the whole project is about uniting the community. The community is divided, the South and the North. There's been a history of tensions between the two sides, the two neighborhoods, street-related tensions. And the whole idea of the project is to bring the North and the South together. So even in that concept, the Condor and the Eagle is also there in the concept of the community work that I do, and it's about unity and collaboration. In Take Care, we have DJ Grouch representing Colombia and Panama, and DJ Classic Roots that come together to collaborate in that track. And DJ Classic Roots obviously representing Turtle Island. And in Two to Ones is the track that has the most collaborations. There's artists from all the way from Chile, all the way from Turtle Island. So from Chile / the Bronx is Rodrigo Stars, who is a part of Rebeldias, who I'm a fan of, and I've had the honor also to perform with them on the same stage. Then Argentina, representing Argentina, we got Che Uno, who's one of my favorite MCs when it comes to using Spanglish and mixing English and Spanish seamlessly. We have artists from Jamaica, Sakisha Brown, who I've also seen grow up in some of my programs, specifically the Palisades Media Arts Academy, and I'm a huge fan of her work. Jay Weiss, who's a legendary MC from the Tira, who was born in Antigua. Lua from El Salvador. Rude Gang Entertainment, Hope, and Mama Rude Girl, MTHC, who are Afro-Indigenous hip-hop artists from the West Coast. Then we have Bella McWatch, who is an indigenous artist from this territory, from Dish with One Spoon Treaty territory. So, all these artists coming together is a huge part of the goal of the album, which is to bring the South and the North together and begin to fulfill the prophecy of the Condor and the Eagle.
Look out for part 3 of the Making of Northside KUISi, A New Tradition Volume 3, with Beny Esguerra and New Tradition Music, where Beny will be joined by multi-instrumentalist, arranger, and producer Luis Orbegoso as they dissect the compositions within the album. This is Juana with Lulaworld Records. For more information, you can find us at lulaworldrecords.ca and newtraditionmusic.com.